Hello everyone and welcome back to Zoo Sicily. Today it's time to turn these two eyesores into something actually nice looking. I went back to this park a couple of weeks ago and I found myself looking at a couple of things that I really did not like anymore. I will talk about more about this, why I didn't like them, why I think they were really not that great, and also why I think that it's absolute about time to change them, and why it's also so cool to change things. But first, let's have a little look at the sponsor of today's video, which is obviously Instant Gaming. As you know, they always have brilliant discounts for you ready. On their platform, you can get games, you can pre-order games, you can get DLCs, and you can even get coins for your beloved games if you are in a kind of pay-to-win situation. You can get even those for less. But obviously, there's great stuff for Planet Zoo, so if you still don't own all the DLCs, I highly recommend going there. Most of the DLCs are below €2 by now, so easy grab, get there, get one if you have a spare euro or two. But let's get into the video now. Okay, I have talked about this quite a lot in the past. Ever since I built the Colosseum or the Lion Amphitheater, I don't know how to call that, I wasn't really 100% happy with it. Like, I still believe it fits right in here, like story-wise and historically-wise, it makes sense to have a building like this in here. And realistically, it could actually have been here before. You know, the whole trivia behind Zoo Sicily is that we have this wonderful zoo as a planned zoo by an investor, but they agreed upon the agreement at the beginning that no harm is done to the nature, and they do actually keep everything that is in here, which is why we still have the winery there, which is still why we have some other buildings in here, which is why the lemur house is equally like a cultural institution and stuff like that. So this is all the reason, but this kind of whole build never clicked with me for many reasons. And I also finally decided to get rid of the lions in here and exchange them with, well, actually not lions, but with another type of lion, with the cougar, the mountain lion. I feel like this is a way better choice because they would actually deal a lot better with the different inclines in here, and this would much more suit them as an animal. This is also why I needed to change quite a bit in this habitat. So you can see that I'm changing quite a lot dramatically of the whole face of the habitat, making it all look a lot more embedded into the nature and worn out by nature, I should say. I think this is the more realistic framing over here. Just making sure also a lot more Sicily-fied. I want to call it Sicily-fied by now. This is what I want to call this term. It's really making sure everything looks a lot more as it's been intended to. And so this old Romanesque building over here is just maintained in a small way, and this is realistically how you would have found this thing over here, and not in like almost 100% constitution. That is very seldom that you'd find these things over so many decades and centuries. So that's the easy explanation. But finally I had the time and the will to change this, and it was so worth it, guys. I'm very pleased now with the result. I think it's fitting so much better in this whole project, and equally it gives me the chance in the next episode to build something completely new for the lions, because I finally have the idea what to do for them. You can still see the lions in here. I'm obviously using the remaster. I just cannot stand the in-game lion. It's not possible, okay? The original game lion, like if I would wish something for the final free update, it would definitely be a lion remaster by Frontier. That would be bonkers. If they would give us this, I'd 100% love them for that. This is for me the most needed remaster we have. But I mean, if not, you know, we can still just keep the remaster forever in here and just say that this is the game's animal. Who cares, you know? That's the way it is. Well, actually, console players will care because they can't do this, but other than that, I mean, you know, this will be the story of the future. I'm very sorry for the console players that they will never be able to enjoy free build, for example, but I'm equally happy that the game at this point is at such a great, constitution situation that this makes a whole lot of sense. Also, by the way, if my voice is crackling here and there a little, this is because I'm just recovering from quite a heavy flu, or I think it was more than a flu. It was basically the beginning of an influenza, but I, after almost 1.5 weeks I'm feeling a bit better right now. This is also why I need to change the content for the next weeks a little, but you'll see. I have something planned for you because I'm also now on skiing holidays, and the plan was to have something ready for you, which I totally don't. I'm recording this video the day it goes live, so there's really not that spare time in between, but I have something planned for you, so keep your eyes on the channel. There will be some fun things, including me reacting to my very first YouTube video with commentary. That is gonna be hilarious, I tell you. I've already recorded that yesterday evening, and then I needed a night to sleep over that, and I just get myself sorted again. That was really the most important part here. But yeah, you can tell the refurbishment of the lion area has pretty much been worth it. And now we come to potentially the most complicated and problematic habitat of the entire park. I'm not gonna say that I hate it, but in fact, actually, I love the habitat the way it is, but just not for Zoo Sicily. So the first step is going to be the change of the roof now. The roof is going to be a huge change already, but the habitat will also receive a lot more change, and therefore we are going to have a little look at it in the real-time part, which we are obviously going to have in a couple seconds, or well, actually in five-ish, 6 minutes. That's where we are going to go into the real-time part. Now, as I said, it's definitely one of my favorite habitats for king penguins. I love the king penguins in this game by now with all the fur variants and so on. Love it. But again, I'm just not feeling it. It's just not Sicily. And so the roof is the first biggest change, and the building itself is fine. I think the easiest fix would be to take another animal in here. However, we don't have another animal. Maybe we are going to go in with a modded animal, and then you guys can come up with a suggestion. Or we have to change the outside as well a lot more. I mean, we have the coolers everywhere, we have some snow cannons, but there's like no way that in Sicily, with like 80% of the year, temperature-wise, the penguins could go outside. So they would actually always be inside, and this inside is way too small for them, and it wouldn't really work the way I intended it to be. Not really sure what I thought when I was building it. It should have been like an echo thing with all the energy provided by the sun to create all these snow cannons working the whole time. But I mean, that's not gonna work with like 30 degrees outside. And this is obviously the reason why I cannot do it this way. So I have to find another solution, or we just leave it the way it is and just pretend it's gonna work this way. But I mean, you know, at this park shouldn't be like hyper realistic, but more realistic than, for example, Yosemite was. And so I guess we have to fix this issue. I think it was so good that I had all the time spent on Hirscheck to really get out of Sicily as much as possible, to come back with a fresh mind, which I do have right now. And I must admit, there is a lot to fix in this park. I still love it, and I still believe it's even better than Yosemite was, which most of you guys will agree with, if I read into your comments correctly. But there is still so much room for improvement. I'm so curious, guys, what the next and potentially final DLC plus free update for Planet Zoo will be. At this point, I have absolutely no idea what this could be. Like, if you follow this ominous list of in the forums, which, if you know, I'm not sure what I should think about this, but after all these years now, I have the feeling that Frontier took this list maybe a little bit too serious, because they literally went through this list every single DLC and fulfilled the wishes of this list. And you know, this is not in particular bad or anything. I just feel like this list has been created, and if you see the number of votes that this list had on the forums, we are speaking about a couple hundred people that were involved. And yeah, statistic-wise, you could scale that and it still would represent a good chunk of the people, but it's by no means a relative or a serious amount of the target group of Planet Zoo. So it's kind of odd that this has been done for a group in the forums, which obviously are core fans, so I get it. And obviously I'm very happy with the choice of animals, but I wish they would have branched out maybe a little bit more upon their own and just brought in some more surprises. But you know, who am I to judge? I'm just happy that we get another update and that we just get another final DLC. Personally, I'm hoping that they do the kind of Planet Coaster vibe sign-off, a bigger one. For those of you who don't know, Planet Coaster ended with the Ghostbusters DLC, which was quite a huge one. It was, instead of $9.99, it was $14.99. But comparatively, it could have also been a $19.99 because it brought almost double as much content to the game than the other DLCs were doing. So in that sense, it brought in a massive building pack. Like the Ghostbusters pack was the biggest building packs and also one of the most versatile. We got a really great one. Then it got a couple of new mechanics, new mascots, new rides, a completely new type of ride with like the shooting range ride. Really, that was a gorgeous DLC, a really, really great one. And so I'm really hoping that this is gonna happen to Planet Zoo as well. And then there could also be quite a couple of animals in there. And at this point, I don't really think we will see any groundbreakingly new things, but I'm guessing that we are getting a couple of like fixes, you know. They might actually bring in the walrus, for example, because that is one of the semi-aquatic ones we are missing out on. I could technically see a leopard seal. That would also be awesome. And then there are a couple of other things. Some monkeys are missing, you know, along these lines. I think this is realistically what's gonna happen. While I'm sipping one of my tea here. Otherwise, I would be bursting into coughing. I'm still very much coughing a lot. But anyways, you can see me doing a couple of fixes here. There's not really that much to see. So let's skip over in the real-time part and see what fixes we've done and what we are going to do in the next episode. Alright, we are starting in the penguin area, and as you can tell, the change with the roof already does a lot. Like, it looks so much more Sicily vibes. It just fits so much better in here. I still have to do a couple of changes, as I said, and we potentially need to exchange the animal in general. Like, if this is a very... It could really... Like, the problem is, we obviously have all the others over here. Like, we have the sea lion, we've got the monk seal, we've got the normal seals over here. We've got the otter, like actually we do have otters. Do we have otters in the, yeah, we have got the small clawed otter in here. We don't really have the river otter, but the problem is we could, like the only animal I can think of right now that could go in here is obviously the mod of the sea otter. But if you guys have a better idea, please let me know. Maybe we can fix that with a different type of penguin, I don't know. But I'm not like, I don't see the king penguin staying in here because realistically it just doesn't work. Or maybe you convince me that they would survive this with all the coolers and snow cannons in here. Yeah, don't know. It's just still my problem. But look at all the different fur variants. So simply for those, I want to keep it. Oh, just I love Frontier. They can do it. You know, they can surprise us with these kind of things. I'm just always blown away by how great this is. Yeah, then you've seen I've prepared this zigzag kind of incline over here. Basically pairing this area with the other side where we have the same, which is over here where we go across the, through the butterfly gardens. And I wanted to do something similar over here, but it turned out to be a bit more complicated with the different inclines. So the only idea I have is maybe putting the other bed in here, or maybe on this corner. I don't know, something like this could work, but there's a lot of fixing to do and hiding, and obviously security, because at this point people could actually tremble, fall over. So we need some railing over here, especially in this corner. So yeah, it's also relatively steep, but that's just like the nature over here. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, now as this is done, I'm just gonna take a sip of my tea again. You have to deal with that, okay? Very unprofessional YouTuber acting over here, but I have to drink, and always cutting is also no option. I hate that. But yeah, let's go over to the lion habitat, and this is now the cougar habitat. And actually, you know, as we speak, we can also change the wonderful education boards to the cougar now, because that is the new animal. Do we have another one over here? Not really. Do we have another one outside? Nope. Okay, cool. Then we can actually have it this way. Now, this is the new lion area, and I think, you know, the changes did really work wonders. Like, have more security over here so they can't really escape in there. They still have their lion area there, but I mean, look at that. There's one moving up here. It's like an enormous habitat for them, but I feel like this is really cool because they now have what they deserve, and they have so many cool spaces to chill and relax now, that I feel like this habitat now is really what we needed it to be. There's also more security up here, making sure that they cannot escape, with some fences to make sure that they cannot escape. Like there's a ditch over here. Yeah, realistically here and there is a potential place for them to break out, but we shouldn't be too picky at all these points. I'm just very happy that this works. I'm a little bit sad that they're only coming in a pair and don't really have more, so maybe we have to go for some babies with those two, just to fill in the habitat a little bit more. But I feel like I don't really need to do much more than this, because it looks like, I mean, just look at this frame over here. It already looks fantastic. Let's zoom in a little. Yeah, look at that. I mean, this is really cool. Like, giving this really cool mountain vibe for the mountain lion. I feel like this is absolutely what we deserve, what they deserve, what we deserve. And now the whole thing just also, it just embeds so much better in the whole park. It still is quite a huge chunk over here, but as soon as I've got some more trees in here in place, I think it will fit so much more in. Okay, and now this is what I was talking about, guys. We haven't that much space left, but there is an option to get the lion habitat actually in this space over here, which I find a very interesting challenge to see if I can fit this in this huge space, because that would be a very huge space for them to delve in, but also nice to bring it in. Or, and this is actually my preference at this moment, to bring it in here. So because this is the area that I wanted to have as the kind of end area of the park. It's going to be connected to this path over here, but having maybe a huge plaza on this hand, and then get the lion habitat into this end, and just get the people maybe via like an underground tunnel to the center and give them like a viewing dome, could be something really cool. And I feel like this is the way to go. And then we could bring maybe like a smaller animal in here, or maybe reserve the space for the upcoming DLC for whatever animal is going to be brought in here. So with the new DLC. So not really sure what that is. Okay, let me just get one final sip of my tea to make the outro, because otherwise I won't make it. God, it's such a good, like, it's mint honey kind of tea, whatever. So yeah, that's the status quo of Zoo Sicily. There's still a lot to fix, but in the next episode I'm gonna wait for your answers, because over my skiing holiday I won't be able to do anything in here. But when I'm back, I will tackle the lion area, whether it's gonna be here or here, depending on your feedback. And now I wish you guys a wonderful weekend. Please make sure to check out the instant gaming link in the description. If you need anything, you can really always grab it via this link. You help me out directly by whatever you buy. It doesn't matter. It helps me to reach my goals of sales, and you will obviously get the game for the best price out there. It's 100% trustable, so don't get me wrong. It's nothing shady or so. People keep asking that. I don't know why, but it is actually very nice. And yeah, as I said, discounts at the moment are crazy. And I can also recommend getting Planet Coaster if you haven't already. I'm still hoping that Planet Coaster 2 is actually on the horizon, so you be prepared for this one. Anyways, I want to thank you guys, as always, for the ongoing support. I can't wait to do more in this park. I mean, just look at it. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? There's just like the parking lot has to be done. This roundabout will be fixed, and then Zoo Sicily is almost good to go. Like, we will do a lot of nature around here to really make it fit in right there. But other than that, I'm already pretty pleased with how this is looking at this point. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful time. Stay safe, other than I did the last 2 weeks. And I talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.